the window down. If I fuck things up, just tell me now. I'm living in a blinded town, am I running out of time? Feel like a drug when I'm talking to you. Slow trip, trying to play it cool. Nothing to do, let's drive to the ocean. Get high, lay on the beach. White water running down my feet. Make love and repeat, I don't ever want to stay all night to see the sunrise. It's way too soon to be calling me baby, but it feels so right against the moonlight. Deep sea diving head first, don't save me. Is there something I can say? Make you wanna stay with me. Is there something I can say to make you wanna stay with me? Oh, to make you wanna stay with me. Is there something I can do to show my love for you?
What up, YouTube? We are live. We are back in the building. And shout out to, y'all know I do this every week, but shout out to you. So, as y'all can see, I have a special guest with me tonight. None other than Monique Carter. Monique, what's up? Say what's up to the YouTube fan. Please introduce yourself and let them know what you got going on.
Hi there, lovely people. Well, I just want to say thank you for having me on. I really do appreciate it. You know, I have a lot of topics that I'm passionate about, and I feel like people don't hear about these things enough. But I'm 22. I'm from Texas, born and raised. I did like 1 year of college, so like I'm kind of college educated just a little bit. I did like one semester and I was like, this ain't for me. And then I just started working. Now I just moved back home. I'm with my father. And yeah, I'm just living life, working, trying to get my stuff together.
I love it. And for those of y'all who are wondering why we're doing a show on a Tuesday night, so Monique was on a she was on it was like a YouTube, it's an Instagram, post. And it was about marriage in the Black community. And I absolutely admired what she was saying in the comment section. So I do want to go over that with her tonight because she's very passionate about where she stands. And for somebody at the age of 22, that means a lot to me. So shout out to you, and I can't wait to get into it. Let me give my audience a shout out. Shout out to D Cypher in the building early. What up, FBA? What up, fam? How you feeling? Good to see y'all in the building. Those of y'all who did not hit the like button, do me a favor and hit the like button as you enter the door. Share the content and also stay active in the chat. Ask some questions and we're going to answer. So with that being said, I'm gonna share the video that that caught my attention
Oh yeah.
from you, right? And then we could go from there. Also, hold up, let me shout out my wife. My wife Dion is in the building. What's up, my beautiful lady? Shout out to you. And also, we have classic man Charles is in the building. What up, Charles? He said, "Oh, 22." But you know, it's always good to see people young, 22, with their mind, with their wits in order, I should say. Let's put it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. That means hope's
DP
not
is
good.
in the building. No, it's not. It's definitely not.
Not
So it's always
yet.
good to see it. And DP is in the building. DP says, hey, chat. And GMT, yo, what up, what up, what up? Salute to you. Let's stay active in the chat, y'all. We're gonna have a good time tonight. All right. So I'm gonna start with the video. And then if you want, we can go over your comment. We don't necessarily got to read it, but we can just go over your comment, right? And then you let's talk about what basically made you react the way you reacted. So without further ado, let me share my screen and let's get into it. All right. So this young lady goes by the name of Carmen JC. Honestly, I just found her content like last week. So I didn't know who she was until last week. But, oh, hold up. I'm sharing the wrong thing. I'm tripping. All right, hold up. There we go. So this young lady goes by the name of Carmen JC. I didn't know who she was until last week. I just found her content. I actually liked the majority of her content.
Right.
But it was something that she said that made me kind of like, I don't know if I necessarily agree, but I do understand. But like I said, I found Monique's comment and I said, yeah, we got to react to this. So let's get into it. I'm going to play it and then we'll see what we're talking about. Me unmute.
Women or to date women that are not Black. And I say this because I believe that Black men deserve respect. They deserve to have a submissive woman. They deserve to be with someone that will value them. A lot of Black women are spiritually broken, emotionally unstable, and I just think that they're not going to look inward and do anything about it. So I think instead, maybe we need to dilute these out of here. And if you want your children to be educated, you definitely don't go for Black women, because Black women, children, they simply can't read and they cause chaos and they have no home training. So if you want some children that are going to be good children and be raised to be good adults, then don't make Black women. Not to mention, if you want to wear the pants in your household, yeah, definitely don't go for Black women, because, yeah, you know they wear the pants. And if you don't want them to hold things over your head all the time, yeah, I wouldn't go for Black women. And not to say that white women or Hispanic women or other women don't do these things, but Black women, you can't tell them anything. They're incorrectable. You cannot correct a Black woman. And this is why they are the bottom of the bottom. And obviously, I know it's not all Black women, but it is a good majority and they need to be stopped. I encourage.
All right. Let's talk about it. So your take was more or less, from what I read in your comments, that you were going to unfollow her because you felt as if it was a little too much. She tipped the edge. And, you know, there was a lot of what you said that I resonated with. So if you don't mind, let's talk about how you felt about that.
Yeah, so it's a few things. Like this issue of like Black women, how they are today, like the unacceptable behavior that's amongst Black women and Black people in general, that's championed in our community. It's a few things. So, one, like, we're not a monolith. I know she said not all Black women, but really the behavior that, like I said, the behavior that's championed in our community is unacceptable. I'm not denying that. Black women do have problems. We do have issues. So do our men. And the media pushes the loud ghetto one. Can I curse on here?
Well, just try to minimize it as much as possible.
Okay. But the media pushes out the loud ghetto trashy ones to the front, and that's who kind of represents us. Two, men are picking Black women who have no fathers. So automatically they're not going to have a basic respect for men. Like your experience is with women who don't have a basic respect for men. My main point, the main problem I had with her telling black men to abandon black women is one, black love is activism. I know you saw that in my comment. Like the government has been trying to rip black families apart for generations, and marriage is an institution. So that black people need so desperately. So when black people marry each other, you know, we keep wealth within our race and we progress in a way, you know. And then another problem I have with it is telling black men to stop dating black women simply because, like, if our men abandon us, what does that mean for us? What does that mean for our future black children? Are we gonna keep having black children if all black men and women just gave up on each other? Like the issues that are championed amongst our community, most of them are a symptom of the white man. It's not a problem we necessarily created, but it is our problem to fix. And I just had to unfollow her because instead of telling black men, like, and she calls herself pro-black. That's like the most anti-black thing you could say, is telling black men to give up on black women because we need our men. Um, I'm so passionate about this. I lose my train of thought
No,
sometimes. I'm
listen,
sorry.
I want
But
to hear it. I definitely want to hear
I
it.
hope you're following, because it's a
Yes,
little
yes,
all
I am.
over the place. It's a lot of things that like contribute to why I had a problem with this. Like if we look around, already women are like, all women, not just black women, we're kind of in a state where we're like, F men, we don't need men. We've came to like this fourth and fifth wave feminism where we just think we don't need men. And I don't believe feminism is for black women. I believe it's for white women. Um, and feminism just harms our communities because if we look around, we are already in a state where black men are not in the homes, which means our children don't have fathers. And mothers are important, but I dare to say fathers are even more important. So, like, it just makes no sense to me. Like, she sees all the issues in the black community, and so she goes to say black men needs to abandon their women. That would make like our state of being 20 times worse. That doesn't help
Right,
us. That harms us like detrimentally. So I
right,
don't
right,
know. I hope
right.
I summed it up.
No, you definitely did.
Hmm.
You know, the reason why I like when I started and I said I understood her was because, you know, as you can see, as you know, men are having an issue as it pertains to dealing with our women, right? For the
Hmm.
most part, you hear men complaining, and beyond my own anecdotal, you know,
Hmm.
reality. What I look at also is the numbers. When you look at the numbers now, you start looking at it like black men are not marrying black women as often,
Hmm.
right? Um, we are married to black women at the highest rate, but those numbers are starting to go down as black
Hmm.
men are starting to date out at a higher rate.
Also,
And
can I
a
say
lot,
something? Can I say
oh
something
yeah,
on that on that point? We should just take it point at a time because it's a lot of information.
right,
Um, oh my God. As far as like black men not necessarily finding the right black women, and this goes for black women too, because you hear black women say all the time that like men ain't shit, da 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 da. I take it a step further because the world is kind of lying to us about what a high value man is, about what a high value woman is. So when I see black men only attracting trashy ghetto black women, I ask you, what is it about you that's attracting these ghetto trashy black women? Like how are you only qualifying trashy ghetto black women? Like 8 times out of 10 you are what you attract to an extent. So whenever it comes to like the partners that we pick and choose to be with, don't complain about your spouse around me because I'm gonna look at you and be like, well, you picked her.
Well,
You
you know, so to
stop
unpack that
picking
part, right?
like men are picking women without fathers, and that's a huge thing. People don't realize how huge that is. You're having
But
problems
you
with
you
these
know,
women who have no fathers.
so when you think about it, right?
Hmm.
When you think about, well, let me acknowledge the super chat real quick. I got a 4.99 super chat from my guy, Amir. Thank you so much, my brother. Um, when you look at that, what you just said, as far as men are picking women with no fathers, it's very hard to find a black woman with a father in the household, mainly because
Hmm.
the household, the marriage rate the marriage success rate in the black community
Hmm.
is slim to none. And
I,
then on top of that,
mhm.
black women, for the most part, in the 80s and the 90s, in my era, a lot of them weren't even choosing men. They were
Mhm.
just having sex and then having children,
I'm gonna
and
touch
then
on
here
that.
we are.
So
Hmm.
another thing is like Black history. You also this is the only reason I give Black men grace because a huge problem of why our women are the way they are is because they had no dad. Like we can't deny that. But I give the Black man grace, and only the Black man, because I don't know why other races are like this. But Black men have been at war with America since the beginning of time. So, like, the government has made it there. And this isn't me pulling the victim card because I, out of everyone, hate that. It's just you can't be intellectually dishonest when it comes to our history because Black people didn't end up like this overnight. Like, you have to
Right,
understand your history and how we got here. And
right.
so oh no, DP,
Uh,
I definitely agree. It goes both ways. Women are picking horribly. I agree. They're picking so bad. But I feel like that goes both ways. But anyways, like you just can't be intellectually dishonest when it comes to like how Black women got the way they are. And it's because they have no daddy who loved them. If they did have a dad, he was just in the house. He was just the man in the house. See, I have a
right.
great father. So when I look at my father and I look at my peers who either don't have a dad at all or have a dad, but just they don't give a damn about their daughters, I see why they make the decisions they make. Like you can see it. It's like night
What do
and
you?
day.
So what do you mean exactly by that?
It's night and day. A woman who has a father and then a woman who doesn't have one. It's night and day.
I want I
So
want you I want you to touch that real quick. So
mhm,
what do you see? What do you see with the women that have fathers
mhm,
and how they portray themselves as opposed to women that don't?
mhm. So this is why I say fathers are so important. So when a woman has a dad and a dad who actually cares, your father is the only man in this world who will love you unconditionally. Your
Mm,
husband won't do that because there's conditions to his love. He's the only man in the world who will love you unconditionally. He has your best interests at heart, unless your father's an evil person. But other than that, you might have heard this before, like a woman's father is her first love. That's the first person who shows her what love feels like. When women don't have fathers, they go out looking for that love in other men.
right.
So, 9 times out of 10, they don't love themselves. They don't know who they are. That's huge for a woman. It's very huge for a woman to love herself, to know who she is, to not need that validation from a man. So, when a woman doesn't have a dad, I'm not going to say all women, but a large majority of women look for that love in other men, and that can be very destructive. It it can turn you promiscuous. You can end up hopping from one relationship to another, trying to look for that love that your father never gave you. So it's a really huge thing.
Right.
That's why it's important for women to pick good men to be with, because women with fathers make strong women, and strong women pick strong men, and they make strong families. So
I
I really feel like it starts at home. Like,
it do.
even if, yeah, go ahead.
I believe that fathers make good fathers that understand the, they want the best outcome for their daughters. They usually make real feminine women, and feminine women tend to attract masculine, strong men. So yeah, I do what you mean. I do
And
understand what you mean.
yeah, and not only that, but women with good fathers end up picking the right guy. They don't just pick because of money. Like, the world is lying to women about what a high value man is. We're picking men based off money. And if it's not off money, we're picking men based off superficial, shallow values. And that is so destructive. That harms no one but our children. And that's what women aren't understanding, because they look at social media and they see all these women and they're like, oh yeah, I want to be like her. First of all, they don't even know half of what it takes to like get and keep a man like that. Most of the time those men are super worldly, super into themselves. It's really hard to find a successful man who hasn't parted from God. Like, I always tell women, if you don't believe in God, if you're not trying to have kids, my message is not for you.
Right.
Because the world's lying to us about what men we should pick. So now we're picking superficially. So now there's a bunch of tall, attractive, stupid people walking around because our mothers picked horribly, versus picking men based off values, principles, and morals that they don't betray. Those men are the men to be with. And 9 times out of 10, women overlook those men all the time, every single day. And then they have a nerve to say there aren't any good men or men ain't shit. No, you're not shit. Because look at what you're picking these men off of. And it's sadder because you're doing nothing. You're not even thinking about your children. Women are marrying who they love. And that cannot always be a good thing. They're marrying based off, oh, he looks good,
Feelings,
he's cute.
yeah, the moment, right.
Versus off what my child needs. I'm not looking.
So do you think that marriage should be more based on logic and not feelings?
Absolutely. And I think feelings are cool. Like, a love marriage is cool. I'm Jew, so a lot of people can't wrap their mind around an arranged marriage. A lot of people can't wrap their mind around, I want to marry who I want. But look at America. The divorce rate is 50% versus arranged marriages globally. The divorce rate is 4%. And you can fact check me on this. It's 4% because family is involved and your father loves you. So if he says no, it's for a reason. And if he says yes, you should probably marry that man because your father has your best interest at heart. He's not going to steer you wrong. Like I said, unless your father is just an evil person, maybe just marrying you off for the dowry or something. I don't know.
Right. It's real.
Yeah.
So we got a $5 super chat from Classic Man. Classic Man says, unfortunately, men have led the destruction of our relationships. Music has had the biggest impact, and now women are following the trend. I do believe music for sure had an impact, but when you look at our community and you listen to hip hop and you listen to what it's caused, I definitely believe it had a strong hold on our community. And to any man or woman out there that says that it hasn't, I would challenge you on that. There was times when I was a teenager, and I remember that song "Any Up" came out by the Lox. You probably don't even remember that song, Monique. No. But there was a song that was literally teaching you, basically getting you amped up to rob people.
Oh, Lord.
I remember just feeling like growing up in New York and listening to that song and me hanging out with my pack of wolves, and we was on that type of time, and we listened to the music to get us amped for it. Ain't no different than when you're about to create or do some debauchery with a woman. Same thing. You tend to go to the music, right? To follow through with whatever you're going to go through. I'm trying to keep it a family show. So even with that being said, a lot of people try to say, no, it's not music, it's the household. but music is all around us, and music creates cultures. And it's been that way in every society. And there's a reason why you don't see so much of what we go through in other communities. And the type of things that they listen to, it plays a major part in that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do agree with that, classic man. And then now you've got the Sexy Reds. Now you got Glorilla. Now you got, I agree with this too. The 90s R&B didn't help either. Now you got Glorilla. Now you got all of these other artists out there that's teaching our young women how to be that type of women, even if they didn't even grow up like that. Because now these women have fathers, but they want to be a Sexy Red. And it's crazy because of the influence has a stronghold on these young minds.
And it's actually sad because back then, like, the music didn't help, but I would argue on top of losing our economy from like Martin Luther King integrating all of us, and the music, the culture, the movies, social media didn't help at all. That was like the straw that broke the camel's back for Black people, was social media, because at least back in the 70s and the 80s, at least parents had much more influence over their children. Now these phones have all the influence over their children. It takes a strong parent nowadays to really have influence over their child.
Right.
It's not like that anymore for the mass majority of parents.
So what was the one thing, because I'm looking at even how you carry yourself. You don't have a huge online persona. You're not on IG showing off anything. The way you carry yourself, even on live, your soft-spokenness, all of that. I could tell you were taught a lot of values. What was the major things that your father has given you that you could say helped you become the woman that you are?
Yeah, I was going to say it's because my dad poured a lot into me. Like, whenever I was a little younger, like 15, 16, I didn't understand it. Back in like 2016, it was cool to hate your dad. So I couldn't stand my dad. I could not understand why he was this helicopter parent telling me what to wear, how to act, how to be 24/7. And then on top of that, he's heavily religious. So it was very overwhelming for me, like at a younger age. But it had to take me getting out. Unfortunately, it had to take me getting out into the world and figuring out how the world is for myself, and then realizing, dang, my dad was right, and then making that decision to come home and then learn from him even more for a while to realize, wow, I got a great dad. Like, this dude, like, man, don't let him hear me say this. Like, I'm over here hyping his head up so much, but fathers are important. That's how important. So the main thing I would say he taught me, and that really stuck with me, is my faith in the Lord. Even when I was out in the world, I always had faith in the Lord. Like, that's probably the main thing he gave me. The most important. That's the one thing I can really say, like, that really stuck with me from a young age, is my faith in the Lord. I could tell you so many other lessons that we talk about on the daily, but it's a lot. But I would say that's the main thing,
That's the main thing. And I think it's super important, right? I think it's also important because, if we want Black men to find Black women, they need to find Black women like you. And that's where Black men are struggling at, right? Because we just talked about the stronghold that the industry has on our younger women right now, who's teaching them how to twerk. Literally, I went on IG over the weekend. I've never seen so many parties where almost every sister in the party was bent over, and we're talking about, I probably hit like 100 because I look for content. So I hit well over 100 pages. And in all of these pages, there was women at every backyard party on the floor, all fours, bending over, doing what they do. And I'm like, when did it turn into this? When did it turn into you can't go nowhere without seeing our women do that? And this is what black men are saying, lay with it, but in reality, I don't want to marry it, right? Because
Yeah.
when men look for marriage, we tend to marry something more subtle. We tend to marry
Mhm.
somebody that's more reserved, somebody that doesn't want to be out in the streets like that. So
Mhm.
I think it's super important for you to have a voice
Yeah, and
because everything.
mhm.
Mhm.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, I really appreciate you giving me the platform to speak on it because whew, black fatigue is so real. Like I be tired of my own people sometimes. Because I'm just
Yo.
like, you guys need to wake up, please. Please stop doing what you're doing. This is harming us.
Right, right. You and I both. Do me a favor as y'all come in the door, please hit the like button. Also, shout out to everybody that just came in the chat. Uh, I see DP is in the building. We got World Class in the building. World Class gave you the hard eyes and said, "Who that?"
Oh
Um,
Lord.
and Neo
Child.
is in the building. My God, Neo, what up? What up? What up? What up? Good to have you
Black
over here.
people are mainly black women because one, I'm a black woman. So like my thing is like the only thing you're going to hear me say about black men is that they need to be in black homes. They just need to be present. That's the only thing you'll ever hear me say about black men. But for the most part, because I even did like YouTube for a little bit, I did a little TikTok. I only talk about black women because I can never understand what it's like to be a black man. So there's no solution I could genuinely give that people would relate to, you know. But I'm a black
Right,
woman and I know what black women go through personally. So I feel I'm able to really talk on it. And I believe black women in general, but black women specifically, we have a lot of power to take back simply by closing our legs. Like it's a lot. And I feel like a lot of it does start with black women, but black men just have to be there for their daughters. That's it. You
right,
know.
right, right. And I think it's good that you talk to black women, and I think it's a good start. I'm gonna tell
Mhm.
you right now, you're young still, so your journey is gonna be very rough, and especially in the
Oh yeah.
YouTube streets, and it's gonna be rough because you're gonna get called a pick me. You're gonna
Hmm.
get called, you're gonna get called every name in the book for trying
Yeah.
to encourage black women to do better and not
Hmm.
blaming black men for what's wrong. So
Exactly.
you will get a lot of pushback, but your voice is needed though. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
hold you. It's needed.
Exactly. Hmm.
So, as far as a solution, right?
Hmm.
Other than black men being there, because that's definitely one. What would you tell the women if you had to talk to a woman coming up 18, 19 today?
Hmm. So assuming she has a dad that's actually there and actually cares. Other than that, I would tell her do not date. Do not date casually. Like women, I don't believe women should be dating at all until they're ready to get married. Because what is casual dating? Casual dating is just there's no plan. Usually there's no plan to be married. You're just boyfriend and girlfriend for however long until things don't work out. So
Right,
I just and not only that, but we don't live in like the 60s or the 1820s anymore. Like we are liberated. And so I would tell women to focus on themselves and don't again, this is assuming she has a dad that loves her. So this is also assuming she's not looking for men to be
to
validated.
validation.
Yeah.
Right,
So I would tell her to focus on herself, focus on having your own thing because once you do find a husband, it's important that you have your own life. And I know some people don't really agree with the boss babe, like being your own boss. There's a thin line with that. So it's important not to be so much of a boss babe to where you neglect your family and your husband, but it is important to have something of your own. So I would tell her to focus on herself, focus on making kind of a career for yourself, money for yourself,
Right.
until it
I
is time to
agree.
get married.
And
Hmm.
I agree with a woman having her own. I did the only thing I would be mindful of using the words like boss babe. And the main
Hmm.
reason why I would say that is because it gets misconstrued to a strong
Yeah,
black woman, right? And
yeah,
the trope of it is not good. The basic thing is being an adult, right? Like,
exactly. Yeah.
you should have at
Hmm.
like you said, in modern times, your own car. You should
Hmm.
have a job. You should have
But
something that's taking care of yourself.
it shouldn't be your whole personality. I get what you're saying.
Right.
Like
So if the idea is
there is a thin line with that,
right.
but
So if the
you need to
idea
have
is
your own
to
thing.
right. So if the idea is to be a wife, then
Uh-huh.
okay, the priority should be a wife, right? Because if
Right.
you know by the time I hit 30, 40, and I don't
Hmm.
have a husband, but I might have kids or I might not have kids, but I
Yeah.
spent my whole time being a boss babe or
Hmm.
building myself up, what happens to those women, they tend to get left behind. Other than
Hmm.
saying, okay, let me just get the things that's needed to live as a comfortable adult, but let me find a husband to match that
Hmm.
with.
And then again, at the same time, not everyone's meant to be a mother. Not everyone is meant to be a wife. Not everyone's meant for marriage. Like that's the one thing I disagree with like red pillars on is not everyone is meant to be married. Like even the Bible says not everyone is meant to be married. Like marriage is something that tests you to become an even better version of yourself.
Right.
So it's not for everyone. So if you're a type of woman past the age of 25, because that's when your brain fully develops, and you know for sure you don't want kids and you don't want to be married, then be that boss babe. That's for you, but that's not for every woman. So the boss babe culture, yeah, absolutely. It shouldn't be something that's normalized for other women. And it shouldn't be your like entire personality because like you said, like you're an adult. You should be doing those things.
Should
Like
be
you
doing it
should be
anyway.
exactly, you should be able to take care of yourself. And and that's important. That really is important.
Right, right.
Hmm.
She world class wants to know your age. She's 22. 22.
Wow.
And that's real. I see
Mhm.
Sean. So I got Sean here to click on it. He said, "Who's the best for black women? Are you out of your freaking mind?" I mean, we all know our sisters are honestly the best for us, right? Uh, in every stance, we're better together. But the biggest thing
Mhm.
is playing the video that I played earlier. You wasn't here, Sean, but playing the video that I played earlier, it was a woman saying that black men need to stop dating black women in general, not all, but in general. So to
Mhm.
me, it's like, yeah, I brought Monique on to speak on her stance on what the video
You gotta
said,
watch the beginning
also
of the
heard.
video.
You gotta watch the beginning. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Black love is
So,
activism, guys. It really is.
right. So
Keep the
explain
wealth
that to me.
within the house.
What explain that to me. How help me understand your point in saying
It's
you're
really
saying that.
simple. It's literally what I said a little earlier. My side of the family is from Oklahoma. So my great aunt was literally there during Black Wall Street. Like she was literally living in a time where black people had all our own stuff. Yeah, we had to because we were segregated, but we had any institution you can think of, we had it. Like, yeah, black people now we kind of have we have black owned businesses, we have black owned things, but those aren't the same as institutions like hospitals, schools, etc. So I'm very passionate about that only because that history was passed down to me. So now that I see that, wow, we don't have anything, not everyone's meant to be a Malcolm X or like some activist in the street. But if you say you're pro black, then you need to keep finding a black person to be with. If you keep attracting like a bad one after a bad one, it's your duty to find someone until you do, you know? And that's
Right, right,
because it keeps the wealth within the black community. You know, you don't want to
right.
be with the no offense, nothing against white women, because I'm sure white fathers have these conversations with with white daughters, along with other races, they all have these conversations with their kid. Like, as a black man, if I had a son, like I had this conversation with my brother, like, you don't want to be marrying and having kids with the white man, with the white woman, because then you'll look up 4 generations down and all your wealth will be in the hands of this white chick named Rebecca. Like,
Well,
no, no.
so I say this, right? I say this, and
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with that to an extent. But I do understand men and women going where they're appreciated at most. If a black man has a child with a black
Mm-hmm.
woman to a degree, with a white woman, that child is still black. So the likelihood is, because believe it or not, right? A
Mm-hmm.
lot of us, especially when you start looking at the fair skinned black people, we all came from
Yeah.
we all have some form of white in us. Maybe not me, I'm dark skinned, I'm like super dark. But
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of us have some form of a white gene coming down the line. But it doesn't take away from the fact that we're still black people
Mm-hmm.
as a whole. And the world will look at us as black, whether we're light skinned,
Which is
super light,
okay.
super
But
dark. So
sometimes in some lines of families, they see daddy with the white woman, so they get with the white woman. And it like Stephen Curry, like look at they kids. They kids I get with a white woman and
I
it might be
go
over.
Steph Curry. Me and
It might be,
me and
it might be,
Steph Curry aunt might be watching right now. Me and Steph Curry aunt is really close with
it
each other.
might be over. I don't know. He's just an example. Nothing against Steph
I
Curry,
know, I
but
know, I know.
um yeah, I'm just super pro black and not pro black in the way of reparations or I need something from the white man.
Oh yeah,
Me and
that's a
my
different type
family,
of
yeah, that's a
yeah.
different type of stupid, but I'm pro black in the way of what really helps the black community. Don't say you're for the black community if you don't want to have those hard conversations, you know? And these are the
Right,
conversations that black people need to start having.
right.
And my thing is, Black love being activism in itself is just since our people have been at war with America since the beginning of time we've been here, I just think it's important. I just think Black love is just that important, you know, to
Right.
where we need to
Hmm.
continue to build, keep our wealth within our race. And I don't feel like there's nothing wrong with that because other races do it all the time.
We do
White
it all the
people have
time.
white people have these conversations with their children all the time.
All the time, literally all the time. There was just a person that just went viral, a post that just went viral, where
Yeah.
a white woman was dating a black man.
Mhm.
She brought the black man home to the parents. The parents was like, "Yo, I don't want you dating a black man." And as a matter of fact, not only did they not want her dating a black man, her ex-boyfriend was a black man before him, and they got him arrested just because he was black. They framed something on him
Okay, now that's
just so that way
crazy.
he'd get out the picture. Now,
That's
this
crazy.
black guy that they're dating, they saying,
Mhm.
don't date him. I don't want you with him, but have him come work for us. He looks like he'll be handy around the house. So you are 100% right. There's a lot of families out here that's
Mhm.
white, that's other races that, yo, you come into their household and you will, there will be some form of divide, no matter what. Even
Yeah.
if you two might actually truly love each other, you're gonna feel some type of divide. So I do feel
Yeah.
you on that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do feel you on
And
that one.
then the counterpart, you're like your white woman won't relate to you on certain things. Like there's just no relation on certain
Right,
things, you know.
right.
So
How many siblings do you have?
so I have a total of 3. So I'm the oldest on my mom's side. My brother's 16 and my little sister's 8. And then I have an older sister on my dad's side. She's 27, 26, 27, I want to say.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay. All right. All right. So you have a good family structure for the most part.
I guess. Like my parents have hated each other ever since I've been born. And up until this year, where I kind of like because me and my father were estranged for so long, and now that I finally got back with him, it kind of forced my mom to be like, all right, I'll deal with this man for you.
Right,
But
right,
yeah,
right.
so this is like the first time I'm seeing my parents like get along, which is weird.
Which is important, and I think that'll also
Yeah.
help your marriage as well. So, my other question I had for you was, what are you actively doing as a young lady to find yourself a husband?
hmm So, okay, so a few things. So, I'm a Jew woman. So, in our culture, my dad doesn't think I'm ready to start dating yet, you know? So, his thing is, he says, like, he has a bunch of stuff to still teach me to make me a better woman until I can start dating. So I'm not really there yet to date. Like I still have a lot to learn because his thing is like if you don't know something, how will your children know it? Because he knows I want to be a mother. So I guess like to answer the question is becoming a better woman
Okay,
before
okay.
getting out there. So I'm not dating right now.
Do you have a my boy Q? Everybody want to know how old you are.
I'm
Every,
22. Yeah.
so, um, so even so, when do you feel? Because I know you.
hmm
You seem like you have a very strong knowledge of just people in general.
hmm
So, with your knowledge, when do you think would be a good age for you to start a family, find a
As soon
husband?
as possible, as soon as I felt ready yesterday. See, that's the thing. But I respect my dad enough to listen to him. But if if I didn't have him in my ear, my thing is I don't think he really totally grasps like how women have that biological time clock thing. And I don't want to
Right,
have kids whenever I'm like 26, 27, like I want to
right,
have them now. So whenever I'm 40, then life can be about me. I can
right,
be
right,
traveling the
right.
world and everything. But I want to have my kids back to back so they can grow up together, because life is hard. Um, so I felt ready yesterday. I feel ready now. Like I know how to be a good woman to a man, but you know, gotta listen to dad.
Okay. And do you think when so as far as your father, because
hmm
he's Jew, I know there's certain laws that they go by as well. But as far as that goes, you know, I would say if your father, it's going to be up to you, obviously, to bring a good man to him
hmm
to vet out the right way so you could get his approval.
Right,
So
yeah.
I
hmm
do agree with you. Being ready to be a wife at your age is a perfect time
hmm
to actually find a husband, make the babies, get that out the way, and then not be that
Literally.
45-year old. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
45-year-old with the 8-year-old. I cannot. No.
Right, right. So, do you think your father will try to find you a husband?
Sometimes in my head, I feel like he has someone in mind because, like, I'll talk to him about a dude and he's like a great guy. And he's like, no. So sometimes I feel like he has his eye on someone, but I don't know. All I do know is it'll take a year for him to be like, okay, you can start dating. And obviously, I can like pick based off what I've been taught, and then bring that man to my father. And if he says yes, it's a yes. If he says no, it's no, you know?
And then what if he says, "I have a man. This is a man. I want you to
hmm
date him, and then I want to see if that moves into marriage." Would you listen to your father in that instance as well?
Absolutely. Then I would date him.
Oh wow.
That's the thing about American women. That's kind of why I said, like women in America marry who they love. Like in my culture, we love who we marry. So
Right,
there's a difference.
right,
And people can't wrap their
right.
head around that because men and women are very selfish. We live life for ourselves. We don't live life for other people. The purpose of life is to serve other people. The purpose of life is not to live for yourself. And people can't
Right.
wrap their head around that. That's why our kids are so messed up, because we don't live for them. We don't. We live
Right.
for ourselves, and they're just in our lives, and we just,
True. It's true.
you know.
It's true. You really seem like you got your head on your shoulders, and man, you know,
Yeah.
I could see you finding and vetting and having your father vet the right type of man for you, and I love that for you.
Oh
I
yeah. Thank you.
I don't hear that so much in our community at all. You know, I do a
Yeah.
lot
It's
of
not often.
podcasts. I talk to a lot of people, and in talking to them, I have yet to talk to a woman
Mhm.
at your age
Yeah.
that sounds like you.
Yeah. So I tell the men on this podcast, if you want to create a woman like me, be in your daughter's life. Even if your baby mother, your wife, whatever, gives you the hardest time, be still you fight to be in your daughter's life. Like that's the one thing I'll always thank my dad for, is he continued to fight for me. Like even when I gave him the hardest time, even when like I rejected him in the most horrible ways, he still continued to fight for me. And that's really what made me the woman I am today. Like, oh my God, I hope he doesn't hear this. Like, his head is going to get so hyped up, but
Oh, you know
it's
what?
true. It's
Send him
true.
the. You can send him the stream right after we finish, so that way he
Yeah.
could hear what his daughter has to say about him.
Yeah.
Because I mean, honestly, as fathers, we don't get the praise. You know,
You
I actually
don't.
was talking about that with my mom today. Father's Day come around, and what do we get? The restaurants be empty. Mother's Day, you can't even get a seat. Fathers don't get praise.
They
So
really
to
don't. Even when, like, it's crazy for me to say, but fathers are more important than mothers. They are. They really are.
I never
Like
heard a woman say that.
it's like
I've never heard a
it's
woman
hard
say
to,
that.
because it's hard to say that, but they really genuinely are. That's why men raise better children. Women, criminals come from single women household. There's a reason for that. Like, don't get me wrong, I believe being a mother is an honor. I believe being a mother is the oldest profession in the world. It is an honor. It is something to be proud about. It is a very great thing to be a mother, or to aspire to be a mother, especially when you're fixing your life for your future children. That's very honorable. That's a very noble thing to do. But what messes all that up is when you do all that work and pick a man who is worth nothing.
Right,
Because that
right.
just means you picked that man for you. You didn't pick that man for your children.
Oh, I love that.
And that's
I love that.
ugly. That's really ugly, to me at least.
No,
So,
to life. It
yeah,
is.
so fathers are important, you know, and it does, to an extent, it does start with our men, because our men are our leaders. So I would pose the question to Black men: you want to see a change in our community, you're going to have to stand up and lead. Like, honestly, I'm really tempted to say, like, we kind of have to, like, not wash our hands of older Black women, but it's just your time and your energy would be way better wasted, if you could say wasted, on younger Black women trying to fix them versus trying to fix a 40-year-old. Like,
Right.
no,
So
they're stuck in their ways.
are your sentiments that older men should date younger women date older men? Because if what you're saying right now would be for a successful man that's 35 years old,
That's not what
let's
I'm
put him there.
saying.
Oh, okay. So I don't want to
No,
put words in your mouth.
when I
Because
say
those men 40 have to date 40. They don't have to date 40-year-old women, but they usually want to date younger women.
yeah, I don't really have a comment on that.
Right.
I don't really have a comment on that. Only because, like, I don't know. I don't know why men are necessarily picking these young women. I don't
Well,
really
I
have a comment
think
on that. That's
you
not
know
for
what
me
it
to
is.
speak on.
Well, let me help you understand that part. So,
Hmm.
young when you deal with a person that's been through life, right? They've been they've had the hardest parts. They've maybe been married, divorced, a kid or two different men, experienced so much different types of women. It becomes rough. Now take that man now, right, that went through life, but he himself may have not experienced life as much as that woman, because believe it or not, a lot of good men, quote unquote good men, they don't have the options that women do in their younger years. Most men have to build themselves up to become successful. Well, that doesn't usually happen until a man turns 30, 35, 40, 45.
Right.
So now he's at his pinnacle, and his dating pool is now those women that may have been probably with a lot of other guys, multiple baby daddies, all of those type of things. So now it's like, okay, well, this is what I have to date, but I made myself into this type of man right now, and guess what? Younger women actually like me. So
I've definitely heard
why.
that. I definitely heard the argument before, and from a worldly stance, I could see why men would feel that way. That makes sense. But from a woman's point of view, we're on like most women are only picking that older man because he has money. And from my
I
point
agree
of
with that
view,
too.
and in my point of view, that's very destructive because you're only picking a man based off his money. And this is something I get a lot of pushback on from successful men. A lot of men might disagree with me on this one, but this is, you have to understand, I don't have a worldly view on things. So picking a man just because he has money to me is wrong. Like, because there's so much like you want a man, not an ATM, right? Like
Right.
you want a man to raise your children. You want a man who believes in God so he can guide you and your family under the love of God, right? So from my point of view, the only reason those young women are picking those men is because of their money. Like literally. They wouldn't be with you if you didn't have money.
Right.
So my main critique would be on the women. Like I don't really have anything to say to men on that because there's nothing really for me to say. Like I understand you made your money. Now it's time to celebrate with the 22-year-old. I get it.
Well,
Like I don't
even like
know.
let's say he's like 40 and the woman's like 28, right? That might seem more acceptable in the world because that woman is less kind of around the world as much as a woman that's maybe 45, 50, where it's like, okay, you don't even want to listen to me. I can't even get you to cooperate with me. I can't get you to follow me. I can't get you to lead. I can't lead you because you spent your whole life never following. So to find a woman like, let's say your age or higher for, I am not talking about Shannon Sharp, y'all, but let's just say to find a woman your age or higher, older than you, maybe 25, 26, 27, 28, men usually look for that as an option because it comes with more submissiveness. It comes with more cooperativeness, even if it's for money, right? It still might come along with, I don't have to argue with you because I still got to spend money on the older women as well. But I also have to fill in the blank, right? So that usually is what you hear from a lot of, I've been married for a long time. I'm out the game, but that is what you hear from a lot of older men as it pertains to dating younger women, right? Like, I don't want to argue with nobody. So
and
I'm not
I get it. I'm not saying it's not valid. I just don't have anything to say like to the men on
I
that.
got you.
You know.
I got you. And basically, and I love that you're keeping it on the women. So basically, you're basically trying to say, hey, ladies, if you are what it sounds like, if you're gonna date it, an older man, why are you doing it for just money? It should be for substance.
Especially
it should be
if
for a
you
man.
only just if you want to have kids. Like if you're a woman who doesn't want to have kids, it's different. But if you're the type who wants to have kids and wants to be married, you should not be dating a man just because he has money. Like that's the most destructive thing you can do. But again, we're lied to like on a very huge level about what a high value man is because in my opinion, a high value man is not a man with money. It's a man of God. That's a high value man to me.
Okay,
But I'll
I
get
love
a
that. I love it.
it's very hard, like, and I'm not saying all men with money have separated from God, but it's very hard to find a man with a man with money who keeps God centered. Because once you make your money, it's extremely easy to be like, F God or forget God, I'm gonna do my own thing. It's extremely easy. Like, even me as a server, I wait tables. I can make like $500 in a night. It can be very like, and I have to catch myself at times where I'm like, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm not gonna do Bible study this morning. Like, I'm gonna just go to work and print more money. Like, my job becomes an idol, and it's very easy to separate from God. So just think about how hard it is to find a God-centered man who
Right.
is successful. It's very hard. Like,
It's hard.
it's
It's
like the
hard.
lady to tramp ratio right now.
Well, but you know what? So think about both sides of that wheel, right?
Hmm.
It's hard to find a successful man that is in his 40s and 50s that made it to his top level that's into God. But then in reverse, right? It's also
Hmm.
hard to find a woman that is level-headed and into God when she's in her prime, meaning her 20s, early 20s to mid to late 20s,
Hmm.
because at that point she has all the options in the world. She
Exactly.
could
Yeah.
sit she could sit on a yacht, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Just off of the way she looks.
Absolutely.
It's nothing for a woman that's beautiful to be in
Yep.
every place that she wants to be in the world once she has the looks. If she maintains her body,
You're absolutely
right.
right. So I can understand how men feel like, oh, you 22-year-old women at your pinnacle, you got to do everything you wanted, but at my pinnacle, I'm supposed to go and date a 45-year, like no, like I'm gonna turn up with this young chick, you know?
Right,
So from a worldly stance, I get it. I'm not saying like from a worldly stance it's valid.
right,
But
right,
from
right,
like, if you claim to be a man of God, I don't agree with you, you know?
right. So he says, can she maintain her values for her husband into for her husband's late into her 20s and beyond? So what
Like
do you think
me?
about that? I don't know if he's talking about
Um,
you or just a woman in general. Let's keep it on a woman in general.
I think a woman with a great father, absolutely. It becomes a lifestyle. Like,
Right, right.
you'll hear like, and this is something I've seen on social media where they're like, "Oh, you got to watch out for those women of God because most women of God are just reformed hoes." Like, reformed, now they're spirit
Actually,
like
blockchain, this guy says that all the time. He says it all the time.
yeah, like like when you see like these super old spiritual women, they were usually like, 304s back in their days. That's what they say. But nah, I believe whenever you're actually raised in a maybe even a two-parent household is even better with the father who actually cares. No, you're just raised like that. Like, you're raised to not betray your morals for anyone. And I think that goes a long
Mm,
way.
it
Like, you're not
does.
just
It does.
gonna turn 40 one day and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna stop nurturing my family."
Right. It was,
Like, no.
and you know what that is? That's a foundation that's usually embedded in women, right? It's
Yeah.
the same thing for
Mhm.
men. When we have a strong foundation, a father figure that teaches us how to be men, even if we lose our way for a little bit, we always tend to fall back on the foundation. So it's
Mhm.
always like, well, I know I'm a man of substance, which is what carried me. I made a lot
Right.
of mistakes in my 20s. And until I met my wife,
Mhm.
and her and I've been together for 15 years. I always say that.
Ooh,
But
okay.
you know what I'm saying? But it was falling a lot in my younger years and trying to have fun. But I had a foundation because, believe it or not, I had a father that always talked to me. He
Yeah.
always talked to me, even when I didn't want to hear it. even when I wanted to tell him to shut up. As a matter of fact, I told my father to shut up. There was plenty of times where we was gonna fight,
Oh
and
Lord.
he would have killed me. But yeah, that we've been through it. But it was because he didn't want to give up on me.
Yeah. And that's so important. Oh my God.
Right.
That's so
And the fact that
important.
he never gave up on me was a major part of the reason why I'm the man that I am. The reason
Can't
why I
that
put
can't
things
that
together.
just make you want to cry? Like that's so I think
Right.
that's just so powerful, you know?
It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true.
Fathers can't give up
My
on your kids.
my guy coming in hot, blockchain. He says a 22-year-old virgin with this much sense is going to be a blessing to
Oh
someone.
my God.
So listen, the whole idea is I really want to have women like you speak
Mhm.
more often on my platform because my
Mhm.
platform is growing every day.
Yeah.
And you know, I have a dating show called Meet to Marry. That show
Mhm.
is becoming like a really, really, really popular show across YouTube at
Mhm.
this
I've
point. It's
seen it.
starting.
I've checked you out. Yeah, you're doing really good.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Mhm.
appreciate that. And, you know, my idea why I started this is because I strongly believe in marriage. I strongly believe in
Mhm.
Black marriage. I strongly believe in building up our community.
Mhm.
So, you know, this is why I want to have you, and I would love to invite you on some of my panel shows and some of my other shows that I do on the side as well. So that
Mhm.
way you can talk to the women that are on a platform that's already growing. Are
Yeah.
you down for that?
It'll be virtual like this, right?
Just like this, yeah.
Oh yeah. It just depends because my schedule is so stupid, but you give me a date,
Uh,
you give me a time, I'll try to be there.
right. I'll always work with you. And you know, we'll go from there, but definitely, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And Q says maintain your virtue, young sis.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
and our girl April is in the building. She says Meet to Marry is definitely an amazing show. Thank you so
Mm,
much, my sister. I really appreciate that. You know, so I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold
mhm.
you any longer, but I wanted to thank you so much for joining me
No
on
worries.
a night
Absolutely.
like this. And like I said, I'm looking forward to doing much more work with you on these shows and building
Absolutely.
up a platform. Um, I'll be in touch with you from here on out. So
Mhm.
we're gonna grow this thing.
Absolutely.
And your word and your knowledge, trust me, is going to teach more people than you know.
Right. Well, I do also have a YouTube channel. Can I shout out my
Of
Instagram? Is that
course.
okay?
Put your matter of fact, what I want you to shout it out.
Mhm.
I didn't put it in the description, but what I'm gonna do is take your Instagram and I'll put it in this description for the show, also your
Okay.
YouTube channel as well. So go ahead, please let everyone know who you are and what you're about.
So yeah, because I kind of talk about these things. I had to private my YouTube for a while because the hate did get kind of crazy, you know? And
I know,
I was
trust
I
me.
was not I mean, I kind of was expecting it because I've been posting online for a minute, so I thought I was desensitized enough to be able to just handle it. But no.
No, it's a lot.
I had to private it. But my YouTube channel is called Black Girls Rock, BLKGRLSRCK. It's like it's spelled stupid, but it's Black Girls Rock. And then my Instagram is it's.cartier, ITZZ dot Cartier, like the glasses.
Right.
And
Like
I
the car.
really do
Okay.
appreciate you for letting me talk about this because I'm super passionate about dating politics. I think they're so interesting. I think how dating has changed over time and what it's done to the Black community. Because we used to be very decent people back in the 70s, very decent, wholesome people.
Really decent. 40s, 50s, 60s,
Yeah, we used to be
70s, and then
great,
all of a
amazing people.
sudden,
So,
back in the 1940s, we were married at a higher rate than white people.
yes,
You know?
yes, two-parent households were
Yeah.
amazing.
But then you
But
talk to some sisters and they be like, "Oh, but the women had to take abuse." It's always the negative. It's
yeah,
always the negative.
And then
So here we are.
the lady to tramp ratio is just because back then, like, yeah, there were a few, like, you know,
There's always been.
there's always been, but now it's like hard to find a lady. Like, I think that blows my mind. So yeah, I'll always be talking about dating politics on my channels. I have to start posting again more because I did have to stop for a while. But
Right.
other than that, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on. Thank you for giving me the platform to speak because I feel like
Oh,
most content out there is very harmful to young, impressionable Black girls. And that's my target audience, young Black girls. You won't really hear me talk about men, but you'll always hear me talk about women, you know, because we have a lot of
right,
power to take back. It's a lot of work.
right, right, right.
But again, thank you. I'm not going to hold you because I'm a yapper too.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So listen, we gonna do this a lot more. I appreciate
Mhm.
you. Thank you so much for joining the show. Also, everybody that's currently in the chat or watching the show, do me a favor and hit the like button. Let people, it lets the algorithm know, like, yo, this show is popping over here. Also, stay tuned. We are dropping a follow-up date of one of our contestants from Meet to Marry. And also the Meet to Marry reunion will be airing next weekend. Not this weekend coming, but the next weekend. So stay tuned for our season 2 reunion of Meet to Marry. Thank y'all so much for always supporting everything we got going on over here. Much love and much appreciated. Once again, Monique, thank you. And I will be in touch with you shortly. All right.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you. See you later.
Peace.
If it gets too hot, roll the window down. If I fuck things up, just tell me now. We're living in a blinded town, and we're running out of time. Feel like control when I'm talking to you. Slow trip, trying to play it cool. Nothing to do, let's drive to the ocean. Get high, lay on the beach.